For the longest time, we knew that on Twitter, child exploitation content, photos, and videos were proliferating. And for some reason, Twitter did not make it a priority. After Elon Musk took over, all of a sudden it became a top priority and was purged seemingly overnight. We have several bits of analysis talking about why that may be. From Super Contra by Pedro Gonzalez, Yoel Roth, Gay Data and Child Exploitation on Twitter. Did the former head of Trust and Safety's views on underage sex influence Twitter's content moderation policies? This individual has a series of tweets being uncovered talking about how, let's just say inappropriate, inappropriate tweets. And he didn't care. He didn't care. He was posting things that would be shocking to the average person, but he did not care. Why? He lives in San Francisco. The people there weren't going to shun him or ostracize him. They were going to say thank you for promoting this stuff to children. This then spreads around the country. So we have that viral clip going around of Elon Musk being booed on the stage with Dave Chappelle in San Francisco. But of course he's being booed in San Francisco. The worldview of San Franciscans was being exported to everyone else. Now, I want to show you a clip before we read about how Yoel Roth was, Elon Musk, I'll put it this way. Elon Musk posted that Yoel Roth was advocating for minors, for children, young people, to get access to online sex services. Why? Why? It should be for adults. It should not be for young people. Well, when you see that, you may start to understand why it is no one was doing anything about the exploitation on Twitter. You may think, with what we know about Epstein, there's a grand conspiracy, and that the more we learn about what's going on behind the scenes at Twitter and other platforms, it seems like it's intentional. And it may be. But I want to play for you a clip first to help you understand George Carlin. He's very brilliant.
There is no national conspiracy to buy elections and control America. But
you don't need a formal conspiracy.
Right.
When interests converge, these people went to the same universities and fraternities. They're on the same boards of directors. They're in the same country clubs. They have like interests. They don't need to call a meeting. They know what's good for them. And they're getting it. And there used to be 7 oil companies. There are now 3. It will soon be 2. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties. There are a handful of insurance companies. There are about 6 or 7 information things. But if you want a bagel, there are 23 flavors because you have the illusion. You have the illusion of choice. Right.
There is no national conspiracy to buy elections and control America. But
and there it is. So when they ask you, is there some grand conspiracy to promote grooming and all of that stuff? There doesn't need to be. What we know is that these people live in the same place. They work for the same companies. They hire their friends. It doesn't need to be a conspiracy. Birds of a feather flock together. They seek out positions of power so they can gain influence, and they are doing it. So this guy, Yoel Roth, or however you pronounce it, he holds these views. Nobody fires him. He tweets these things. Nobody fires him. Why? Because they know what's good for them. And the people who were flying on that plane with Epstein and going to that island, you think they're going to pull their investment when they see someone advocating for the desires, for their desires? Of course not. This is one thing I explain to people about the media. There is no grand conspiracy at media to bribe journalists to get them to report only favorable news. There doesn't need to be. What these media companies do, they go into a room and say, we're hiring. 10 people all raise their hands and say, I'd like a job. And they go, okay, what's your politics? And the person goes, I'm moderate, conservative, moderate, liberal. Okay. Hey, you over there, you're hired. They hire the people who naturally have liberal worldviews. And that way, the only message that goes out is the message that they want. They don't need to conspire with the journalists or with anybody else. They hire these people on purpose. Yoel Roth has a PhD, presumably, and what do they call it? The ethnography of using Grindr or something like that. That's what people were calling it. Why do you think Twitter hired him? Do you think that he showed up and they said, so were you good at coding? And he was like, I have a PhD in using gay dating apps. And they were like, you're hired. Why? Is it a grand conspiracy? It's not. I guess you can call it whatever you want. It is powerful groomer interests hiring people who they believe will share their worldview. Pedro Gonzalez writes, on Friday, Elon Musk revealed that Twitter had refused to take action on child exploitation for years. His comments came in response to news that Ann Collier, Erliani Abdulrahman, and Leslie Podesta, Democrat operative John Podesta's niece, resigned from Twitter's Trust and Safety Council. Isn't it funny? John Podesta's niece was on the council? Very strange, don't you think? That rubbed ex-CEO Twitter Jack Dorsey the wrong way, who flatly replied to Musk, this is false. Musk in turn dressed down Dorsey. He responded that when Ella Irwin, who now leads Trust and Safety, joined Twitter earlier this year, almost no one was working on child safety. Musk also noted that Ned Segal and Parag Agrawal, who briefly served as Twitter CEO, rejected Irwin's request for more resources to tackle the issue. Musk swiftly fired Segal and Agrawal for taking over the company and made it a top priority immediately. But the story took an even stranger turn when it came to light that Yoel Roth, the former head of Trust and Safety, appears to have, let us say, progressive views of what constitutes appropriate relations between adults and minors. Some people, like human trafficking survivor advocate Eliza Blue, have suggested that this might explain why Twitter has been unwilling or unable to combat things like child exploitation on the platform. In his doctoral dissertation entitled Gay Data, Roth argued that minors should have access to Grindr, an app that enables gay men to instantly pinpoint each other using GPS technology. Okay, it's a dating app. Calm down. Make no mistake, as Vice News colorfully puts it, Grindr is more about hooking up than dating. It's basically a 24/7 merry-go-round of sex in your immediate locale and uses geolocation to provide an approximate location of the closest users to serve up on the nearby grid. Roth, who is gay, noted in his paper that he was documenting and analyzing my own use of these services. As of December 11th, Roth's dissertation has been withdrawn from the University of Pennsylvania's website. However, it is still available to readers through the Wayback Machine. In one section, Roth wrote, while gay youth-oriented chat rooms and social networking services were available in the early 2000s, these services have largely fallen by the wayside in favor of general-purpose platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. Perhaps this is truly representative of an increasingly absent demand among young adults for networked spaces to engage with peers about their sexuality. But it's worth considering how, if at all, the current generation of popular sites of gay network sociability might fit into an overall queer social landscape that increasingly includes individuals under the age of 18. To put it simply, grooming. Now, they'll keep lying and saying they're not groomers, but you don't have to listen to them because they're lying. Not all LGBT people are groomers. Not all groomers are LGBT people. They're saying that because they want to shield pedophiles under the guise of the LGBTQ community. That is to say, they want to call you a bigot, a homophobe, a transphobe, if you oppose grooming. He says, even with the service's extensive content management, Grindr may well be too lewd or too hookup oriented to be a safe and age-appropriate resource for teenagers. But the fact that people under 18 are on these services already indicates that we can't readily dismiss these platforms out of hand as loci for queer youth culture. Rather than merely trying to absolve themselves of legal responsibility or worse, trying to drive out teenagers entirely, service providers should instead focus on crafting safety strategies that can accommodate a wide variety of use cases for platforms like Grindr, including possibly their role in safely connecting queer young adults. Okay, look, young people hook up, and there are young queer people. I get it. But allowing young people to utilize an app where there are adults on the platform is a recipe for disaster. This is what grooming is. Incrementalization. That's how it works. And it may not be intentional. It may be emergent. And what I mean by that is, if someone came out and said they wanted to make an app for minors to date or whatever, then people might say, hey, that's inappropriate. Kids should not have these mechanized systems. If someone came out right and just said they wanted kids to do it, they would face backlash. People would question, well, I was talking to this leftist guy about the Project Veritas expose last week, where the dean is talking about giving butt plugs, among other objects, to children. And this leftist guy said, well, it's fine. It's educational. And I'm like, there it is. If 10 years ago, you would have told someone that they would be cheering and defending butt plugs being handed out to children in a school, they'd say, oh, shut up. That's not what we're talking about. But here we are. If you don't hold the line, this is what happens. Now, for Yoel Roth, he advocates for dating apps where minors can use it, right? I mean, there are adults on the platform. So what happens? You open the door. You're opening the door for adults to start talking to kids. It's already bad enough that they can on the internet, and you got these pedo hunter groups that try and shut it down. But you learn a lot about what this guy really wanted. Oh, and there's more. Former Twitter exec Yoel Roth asked if teens could meaningfully consent to sex with teachers in 2010. Why? Jack Posobiec says, if only there had been some warning signs about Yoel Roth. Considering his Twitter history, why was he hired? His history and his PhD specialize on sex, not trust and safety. They probably hired him on purpose, in my opinion, knowing that he would espouse views and enforce the rules in ways that shaped things to benefit groomers. Surprise, surprise. Groomer started becoming a popularized term, thanks in part to James Lindsay, mostly to James Lindsay. I made a few tweets calling out groomers, and Twitter locked my account because of it. One of them was a picture of an adult male wearing revealing clothing showing sexual images to children. I'm like, that outright is grooming. They locked my account and said delete it or else. Okay, well, I don't care about Twitter that much. A lot of people are like, no, I won't take the tweet down. It's like, I'll just tweet something similar, and I'll tweet about it. So I took it down. Yeah, it's stupid that you had to. But why is Twitter enforcing these rules? Why did Yoel Roth's team decide that calling out pedophiles was a bannable offense? I never said anything bad about the LGBT community. I said groomers are bad. They're grooming kids. And he went, don't insult the people that way. Makes me wonder about Yoel Roth's predilections and what he's interested in when he asks about if children can meaningfully consent with their teachers. Libs of TikTok says, the more we learn about Yoel Roth, the more I'm understanding why he despised my account so much and wanted to personally be the one to suspend my account all those times. Well, that's interesting. Based on what you see here from Yoel Roth, the actions he's taken, the things he's censored, I feel like the average person might make the ghastly accusation that Yoel Roth's a pedophile. Or they might accuse Yoel Roth of having pedophilic intentions or desires. That's what I believe the average person might accuse of this man based on the things he said. They might levy those charges against him. What do you think? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. But this guy's got a series of tweets. So much so that we've got a bunch of several individuals documenting this. Leftism for You says, well, now we know why we weren't allowed to say groomer without getting banned or suspended. Can high school students meaningfully consent, Yoel Roth asks. He says, I'm looking to start a project, teen-targeted gay social networking. Grad student I'm staying with. You're not that innocent. I know about your secret, dirty Twitter account. Guilty as charged. Let me show you the one that everyone's bringing up. It was quote tweeted from a guy, Adam Griffiths. Otterific is the secret account of Yoel Roth. He admits as such. He wrote, muscle bear with beard, hot. Muscle bear with beard holding a child, inexplicably hotter. Muscle bear. Well, that's interesting. I believe they show someone has a bunch of posts. Muscle Bear is some kind of porn magazine, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You get the point. Oh, here it is. Right. Muscle Bear. Euro Bear. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not Euro. It's called Euro Bear, huh? What is this? It's not safe for work when your work involved looking at a ton of bear porn. That's right. Yep. Euro Bear. He's talking about porn with children involved. I'm being careful in the language that I use. You understand. But now do you understand why they aren't taking down child exploitation, but they were banning people for saying groomer? James Lindsay was banned for calling out pedophiles. I received 2 suspensions, and they instructed me I had to delete my tweets. Why is that? Why is that? You ready for this? In order to take action against an account with more than 10,000 followers, the Twitter files revealed they needed to reach up to the highest levels. I got 1.4 million followers, high profile, requires an escalation. That means when I called out groomers, they personally intervened knowing that I was not talking about LGBT people. It was specifically individuals who were showing sexualized images to kids. They personally intervened. That's the Twitter files. How disgusting and insane. Well, Elon Musk is certainly a different kind of person. Prosecute and Fauci. Elon Musk teases Twitter files on COVID. He says these are his pronouns. His pronouns are prosecute and Fauci. I want to make sure you understand this, my friends. The highest echelon of Twitter. I had tweeted learn to code. No action taken against me. At the time, I had maybe a couple 100,000 followers. I now have 1.4 million. That's crazy. Appreciate everybody who follows me. They personally flagged my tweet, sent it to the top. So, Elon, I'm interested in all of the communications. I want to see what they were saying about James Lindsay when they were debating taking his Twitter account down for calling out groomers. I want to know what they were saying about me when they personally intervened to suspend my account for me calling out groomers. Media Matters tries oh so hard. And so did the Daily Dot. But I'll say it again. My opinion is that if you are actively protecting and defending pedophiles, it must be, or maybe, because you are one. There's no reason, or pedo adjacent. There's no reason to protect these people. They can go to jail. They can keep their mouth shut. They can mind their own business. They want to start trying to influence society to normalize their disgusting, whatever you want to call it, predilections. Then we can go in, we can call them out, we can take this stuff down. They will not normalize this. We will not allow it. There is a line. The line is way before we get to this point. But somehow we got close. So I want to know what they're saying behind the scenes when they're actively defending. Why did Media Matters get angry that I said in a long video that, I believe it was Media Matters and the Daily Dot, when I said, groomer does not refer to LGBTQ people. Groomer refers to groomer. And there are groomers who are straight. There are groomers who are white, and there are groomers who are male. There are groomers who are straight white men trying to groom children to be trafficked and exploited. And some of them are gay, and some of them are lesbians, and some of them are bi or trans, because people are capable of all of these things. In fact, I'd be willing to bet. How much you want to bet? Most groomers, straight dudes. That's right. Targeting young girls. And you might be saying, well, look, it's the biggest it's going to be mostly straight white men. Why? There's more straight white men. It's going to be dudes mostly doing the trafficking. There'll be some women. So that's what you'll see. When I say groomer, that is what I am calling out. The exploitation of children. Elon Musk says Twitter is both a social media company and a crime scene. And that, my friends, is an understatement. It's not just about the election stuff. I want to know who decided to personally intervene to suspend my account for me calling out pedophiles. Yoel Roth, was it him? I wouldn't be surprised considering he seems to be completely in line with those people. Libs of TikTok has a series of tweets showing it. Look at this. Yoel Roth, his account, odorific. He's posting over and over again. Have no idea how to handle the following people on odorific. Overlap with people I follow here. Only people likely to tweet dirty things. 2011. So why was he brought into Twitter? I think it was to espouse these views, to protect these views, to expand these views. And we're putting a stop to it. It's funny, for the longest time, the media said that there is no conspiracy of global elites and wealthy individuals trafficking kids. It's crazy QAnon Pizzagate stuff. And then Epstein got arrested and Maxwell went to prison and then, Epstein's dead. So all of a sudden, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact. The Epstein stuff happened. The Maxwell stuff happened, and we know. And you can't cover it up. So I ask once again, who is being hired at these companies? What does Yoel Roth really want? And why did Twitter intervene to take down James Lindsay and my accounts? Now, I don't know how many followers James Lindsay has, but I have 1.4 million. And I had I had the same amount. It's like I probably had 1.4. Now I've got, 100. I got 1,400,060 something. They went in, sought my account out, and manually placed a lock on it. Elon, reveal the restrictions. Release the communications, which he is. So, okay, I guess we'll wait and see. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.